Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Friday evening. It is 9 o'clock. Time to gather in the music room and have a live stream. But first, as always, a little music. You enjoy.
We are all the heirs to Scotland, as a nation proudly stand. We will march beneath her banners to protect our ancient land. In the glens and cities, there on every street are the living heroes no army will defeat. Let a flag mean freedom and not a battle drum. To the world we bid a welcome in 1,000 different ways. We will toast to long lost friendships as we build our better days. In the glens and cities, there on every street are the living heroes no army will defeat. Let our flag mean freedom and not a battle drum. We are all the heroes of Scotland. We're a nation hand in hand. We will march beneath her banners to protect our ancient land. In the glens and cities, there on every street are the living heroes no army will defeat. Let our flag mean freedom and not a battle drum.
Good evening, folks. I hope you're all well, cozy and comfy. It's been not a bad day here this afternoon. Spent the afternoon outside, believe it or not. Well, Dominic, that's the way I hope everyone is going to be approaching the channel from now on. When I post a live stream, my intention is to be there. If I can be there, I shall be there. But if I'm not well enough on the day, then I won't be pushing myself. So that's my mindset for the future until my health situation changes, hopefully for the best. Okay. Exiled. So take it that way. The stream will exist if I'm well enough, and if I'm not well enough, it won't harm. And there's no other sensible way to approach it at the moment. And the consensus of opinion that I've spoken to seem to agree that this is the way forward for the present time. Just take it one step at a time and see how things pan out. Well, you haven't missed it in Treble M. I'm just saying, for the present time, if I am able to be here, I shall be here. However, there will not be a Thursday night live stream. That would definitely be far too much. So the only possibility will be from here on in will be a Tuesday, 9 o'clock, or a Friday at 9 o'clock. Now the other thing is I still haven't heard from William regarding his pick for the next movie review. And that's why that hasn't been posted. I don't know what's holding him up. He said last week that he had it more or less set in his mind. He must have changed his thoughts on the matter because he hasn't been in touch. Apollo 13. So we're still waiting on that information coming. As soon as it comes, I shall post it, of course. But nothing yet. So perhaps he'll show up tonight. Who knows? And I must say, I really enjoyed my my blether with Scott's Armour on Tuesday. Allowing me to expand on the subject of art and fine art. A curious, well, a slightly, vaguely curious thing happened this week. My toilet hasn't been working properly. It's when you flush it, it fills up, but it starts then to dribble and doesn't stop. It's if you've ever had that problem, it's a real pain in the shut in the middle of the night. You hear this dribble, dribble, dribble. Yeah, no doubt, Exile. So anyway, it's been like that for a wee while, and I finally phoned this plumber whose business card I had, and he had done work for me before, ages ago. And he said, "Is that?" I said, "He says, what's your name?" And I said, "Davidson." He said, "Is that David Davidson?" I said, "No, John Davidson." He says, I've done work for you before, haven't I? I said, "Yeah, you have indeed." I said, "About 20 years ago." Uh-huh. He says, "I bought one of your books and you were good enough to sign it." I says, "That's right. You bought the Citadel of the Black Sun and you came to the door and asked me to autograph it for you." All right. So he came over anyway. He did what was necessary, and I was grateful for that, getting it done. And didn't cost me the earth, to be honest. And we started talking again about writing and books and all that. And apparently, he's got his own channel, which he does photography and art, simple animations, and poetry. So, well, there's Eki. Good evening, Eki. Nice to see you. So I went and had a look at his channel. Uh, Quite impressed with uh, the work. So he gave me his card with all his channels and connections, and made a note of a couple of book titles of mine, uh, and said if he buys them, he'll come and get them autographed again. But I was very impressed, and again, it it highlights just how many people in every walk of life are engaged in producing um, artwork. It's quite amazing to me. And what makes it amazing, of course, is the fact that if it weren't for the internet, we, none of us would be aware of each other, and none of us would be aware of all these people with various talents and gifts. And there's so many on this channel as well. So we'll see. I was going to, maybe I should let you see some of the things. They're all very, very short, of course. But that doesn't really matter. I'll bring up some of his stuff. There it is. Let me think. They're usually under 2 minutes. It's a very small channel, obviously. Uh, let's see. Some have got poetry and some don't. Some are simply good, wishing people uh, Happy New Year and Merry Christmas. You know, now take this one up. So let us try here. Right. This is just a small example of the kind of material he's putting out on his channel. Why did that not go big? It should go big. Why did it not do that? Ah, dear, dear, dear. What's happened here? What's happened here? What's going on, John? The best laid plans. Why is that not working? That's not working. Something wrong. I've done something wrong. Stop screen. Start again, John. Right. So far, so good. Put that over there. Do this. That's better. Okay, doke. This is just some of the things he does. Oh. What did the plumber, Dominic, what did the plumber say to his wife? It's overflow. Yeah, a train whistle. As I say, that's the sort of thing he does. They're not all like that, as I say, but it's different and it's interesting. And very time consuming to make something like that. Yeah, that's what I thought. You'll credit where it's due. Takes imagination to set a thing like that up. Work out how you want it to appear to work, etc., etc. So I went through a lot of it. I was quite taken. And he's got poetry, which again is interesting. So obviously, if I'm still live streaming come Halloween, I'll use some of this. Give a contrast to what usually goes on. get something else for you. John Sullivan is his name. He's got other parts of the site where it's photographs, portraits, still lifes, etc. So here's a poem, a Halloween poem. Okay. Yaradi. Right.
Happy Halloween.
There's the details there on it. So there you go, Steve. .com user. I'll look out his It's photography stuff. I'll let you have a look at that. Spooky music. Yeah, as I say, this is he gave me a business card with various aspects of his site, what he does. Photography, art, that YouTube channel, and another photographic site. I've had a look at the photography. There's some really good shots there. I'm not going to start messing around now and digging them up. Or digging them out, should I say. I'll do that for another time. And just to give him a little bit of a plug, promotion, you know. John Sullivan is his name. And that's what he appears to be doing at the moment when he's not earning his living at plumbing. But never mind. So I hear a lot of good things about this film, Oppenheimer. Obviously, I haven't seen it yet. I've heard a lot of good things about it. And my friend from Glasgow was down this afternoon visiting. And we sat out the back. And he was telling me it's shot in IMAX, which is brilliant. You know, all really good films should be shot in IMAX. It's absolutely superb. And seen in that format as well. And apparently the detail that's captured on film now is truly, truly amazing. Who? You look like, Streaky says, I look like Cillian Murphy, the actor who played him, just a bit older. Okay, I have become Cringe, the destroyer of crazy. Yeah, cozy. I've become the destroyer of worlds. I haven't looked at the drinkers' take on it. I need to do that. My pal says he thoroughly enjoyed it. It's over 2 hours long, and he and his missus said that they didn't even notice the time. They were so absorbed by it because of the IMAX, of course, and they were in a cinema. So they were completely absorbed. I'm strange looking. Well, maybe that comes with age. Oh, there's Pagan Tree. Good evening, Pagan Tree. But yeah, you've seen it. Okay, I saw it. Yeah, me. Apparently, he was after the bomb was set off. He was very distressed and had a complete mental breakdown and all this. An aging pretty boy, says Eki. Why not these things not working the way they should? A big lag going on at the moment with this stream. Yeah. Raging pretty boy. They always look odd when they're trying to be serious for some reason. This was a serious role. He was swung for the fence. No idea, Eki. Never heard of him. Oh, Peaky Blinders. Yeah, well, I watched that. Certainly. Yeah, I watched Peaky Blinders. I quite enjoyed it, but I'll tell you what, I couldn't help but think that this was simply when the boat comes in with guns and more violence. Apart from that, it was really the same. A young man coming back from war and making his way in the world through gangsterism. But in this version, of course, it's got more violence and add guns, which when the boat came in, never ever had, except a few episodes towards the very end of the series, of course. I know who you mean now, it's Streaky. Yeah, high cheekbone, very kind of going. Yeah, I know who you mean. Exaggerated by the way they have cut his hair to fit in with that time. So I do know who you mean. Well, that was my conclusion on Cheeky Blinders. That's all it was. It was just a rehash of when the boat comes in. Ecky's adding or commenting, I have some doubts about Oppenheimer's mental breakdown. I can't put my finger on it, but it seems like a yarn, like he was putting on a show for some reason. Perhaps that was to, if you're correct, of course, perhaps what he was doing was trying to shift guilt that he may have had, for what the bomb or the two bombs had produced. I don't know. As I say, I haven't seen it, and I haven't been watching any of the reviews on it. I'll need to do that. Maybe do that over the weekend. See what the critical drinkers got to say about it. But you can't go into a project like that, surely, without knowing where it's going to lead. Excuse me. I've got to keep looking to make sure that I'm not bringing up blood anymore. Well, as I say, my friend told me that him and his wife went to an afternoon showing Sunday, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was a full house. Well, the thing is, Eki, I won't be going to the cinema to see this. I can tell you that. Shifting of culpability was a part of a pivotal scene in the Oppenheimer movie. I would discuss it further, but I will offer no spoilers. Well, we all appreciate that, but I'll certainly won't be visiting a cinema to see it. But as I say, you cannot get involved in a project like that without knowing or realizing where it's leading. You know where it's leading or where you're trying to lead the science. And it's a bit weak, is it not? Heck, you mean I invented the Ultra Kill Death Dealer 2000 and it was used to kill people? Exactly my point. Yeah, well, it's one of these films that we know where it's going. This is part of the trouble I feel about historical movies. You know, to some extent, I suppose it depends on how much of a history buff you are, really. Uh, it's like going to see The Bunker. Well, we know how that ends because we know the history. You know, Adolf Hitler and Eva Braun kill themselves. No, there's no surprise ending here. There's no alternative offered. It's like a lot of these historical films, I feel. Uh, you know, why would you go and watch a film called Pearl Harbor, for example? Well, this is what I've been told, Eki. Exactly the point you're making here. Most of the film is literally relationships between Jews being interrupted by non Jews. Yeah, it's a series of conversation pieces. will discuss the merits or otherwise of building such a bomb. Ah, but did they, says Edmund, raising a question mark. This is what I feel about it. It's like, I'm sure it'll be a great spectacle of a film, this Napoleon, when it comes along. But we know where Napoleon ended and how he ended. This is the problem. Or this is how I feel about it. If I was going to see a historical film, uh, and they were offering a tantalizing alternative to what actually happened in history, then that might be something worth sitting through. Oh, I don't know, Streaky. Why? Because there's enough of them. So I've no idea why they didn't put a British actor in the lead role. No idea. No idea at all. He's saying Terminator 2 is objectively a better movie than Oppenheimer. Well, I cannot comment because I haven't seen the Oppenheimer film. Yeah, I also see, I was shown today by my friend on his phone, uh, an official trailer for a new Dracula film. Today they make all movies politically correct, says Exiled, by adding in historically inaccurate characters like Bames and others who were here at the same time, nor should have been in such roles. Now I couldn't help but notice in this trailer for this new Dracula that it suffers from the same thing. You've got all sorts of people that really shouldn't be there because the whole premise of the film is the sea journey between the Black Sea and Whitby in the south coast of England. So, who would be the likely crew members on such a ship? Certainly not the people that I saw today in the trailer. That's for sure. And that's, of course, what they're doing deliberately. They're mixing these people in all the time. People who are neither one thing nor the other. Although I've got a problem with any of that because I don't personally have a problem. But if we're going for either accuracy in the case of this Dracula, in the literature, or in Oppenheimer in history, then we should go for the accuracy of the people who were there at the time and were involved in the project. Dracula. And it's, as I say, the film concentrates entirely on the sea journey. So it's only the central character of Dracula and the crew members. That's all. As it journeys from the Black Sea through the Dardanelles into the Mediterranean, around the coast of Spain, and up to the coast of the east coast of England, to eventually come to rest at Whitby. But when you get to see it yourself, you'll see the point I'm making. This is the way they're changing history. They're rewriting history all the time, and through fiction and through facts. And the trouble is, of course, the reason they get away with it is because the general public are too lazy to be bothered to check up or to know anything about history, to realise that this is hokum. It can't be like this. Just can't. And that's how narratives, historical narratives, are changed little by little through ignorance. Ignorance that exists amongst the general public. Who don't see the importance of historical accuracy. This is what they call it. Reimagining. Yeah, reimagining. I'm going to reimagine how things were. Yeah, let's reimagine the Second World War. Well, if you accept that, then you have no solid base to build on. I was telling my friend today that, because he didn't know, excuse me, that they're going to rewrite 1984 and put a different ending on it. That'll be called reimagining. It's actually destruction of a piece of literature, a very important piece of literature. And but Ecky's quite right. They'll use that phrase, reimagine. And the people who have never read the book won't give a toss about it. That's not the one I meant to put up, it was this one. When history debunked coughs as final cough. That's a man that does a lot of coughing as well. It will be a sad day. He is fastidious in his good work. I've never seen that one exiled. The worst example of historical inaccuracy I saw was a black guy in a nobleman dust. Excuse me. Handing a pardon to Lord Darnley's executioner. The 16th century did not have blacks in Scotland, and not as nobles. No, it did not. Indeed, it did not. No. In fact, it was much, much, much later before there was even one black person in Scotland. One person. But as I say, the trouble is lack of proper education at a lower level, where ordinary folk don't see the value of proper education. And so this reimagining nonsense is allowed to go on and will continue to be allowed unless there's some gigantic change in the political structure in the country. And I don't see that for any time soon. What's wrong with this damn thing? Sorry about this, folks. It's just not working the way it's supposed to. Queen Elizabeth was a strong, independent black woman, and if you disagree, you're a big Jesus. Well, that's the kind of nonsense that they would try. And I've seen stills from some sort of historical dramas where you've got these black ladies in the background dressed up like, gentry. All nonsense. I mean, it's just lies. Just complete and utter lies. The trouble is, black people want to believe that to be true. They want to believe that they were part of all of that. And somehow us white people stole everything away from them. That's what they really want to believe. And that's what others want them to believe. That's why control of the arts has always been important. Like I was talking about on Tuesday and last week. That's why it's important. So that the people who want to change our actual history and want to distort the past for their own means and benefits shouldn't be allowed to do it. they need to be held to account. But the only way you can do that is to have people who are concerned about these matters. And I'm sorry to say, working class people just don't give a shit. They just don't care, or they don't care enough. Which is the point I'm making, Exile. The lack of awareness of the education. Because these things are not addressed and attended to. But that means you have to have the right people in control of the arts, all of the arts, like I was saying before. Otherwise, you're going to get this slide away from what actually went on to someone's dream of what went on. Yeah, well, that's it, Trevor Lamb. The old saying, ignorance is bliss. But we should not allow it. We should pull it up wherever we can. I know I would if I ever come across it. This all matters. And again, this is what the agonizing thing. People people don't care enough. They don't seem to care enough about anything. I've never understood this. Why are men in particular? Why are they more concerned about football results than they are about the accuracy of what went on in their own area or their own country in the past? Why is that? I just don't understand that. Why is a football team so much more important? I don't see it. It's only 11 guys kicking a ball who get paid enormous sums of money for doing it. And I don't know if there is a way to turn that around. And I know that George Orwell wrote a terrific essay on the subject of this and said that sports did nothing but separate people. It did not bring people together, it separated them. And my observation over my lifetime tells me that he's right. Well, a lot of people say that as well, Eki. 11 guys you've never met and who aren't even a part of your ethnic. 11 guys who probably hate you and your people. I mean, how English is the English team when it goes out to play as an English team? Yeah? Good evening, Special K. Nice to have you with us again. Treble M is adding, I think I heard that a football player earns £700,000 a week. I can believe that. I can believe that. And that's whether they play or not. They may actually be sitting on the reserve bench waiting for an opportunity to play. Good evening, Ludwig. Nice to see you here. Now, sport's a very divisive enterprise. All about making money for a few people who own the club. And then when you get to this national level, you say, well, if it's an English team representing the country of England, how do we pick the players? It's tricky. Nobody gives an F, he says. The breakdown of society is too hard to face for a lot of people, so it's easier to look at a game. And you're probably right, Streaky. How can I disagree with that? How can I argue with that? I can't and wouldn't. I think that's absolutely right. Well, it relieves tension, I suppose, once a week. My pal's no different. He supports his team, Doesn't really matter who they're playing, so long as his team wins. That's the way of it. He doesn't seem to care too much about what's going on in the rest of Scotland. Exiled is slightly frustrated by them. I have no time. A celebrity star footballer who gets paid to prance around like a puffy runner after an F in football. It's a sad indictment of our country. And when I say that, I do mean Scotland, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, of course. Oh, you're having a drink, are you, Steve? Good for you. Just cracked open a bottle of Gordon's orange gin. Didn't know they made such a thing. friend gave to me. Oh, you're off, Eki. Well, thanks for coming in. Nice to have your thoughts on these matters. I don't think it's as easy in this country, Eki, to buy metals as it is in the States. I could be wrong. I don't have any experience in those matters. I can't just imagine me going into the town and shopping for so much of silver or gold. I just don't see it. If I had the money to buy it. I could be wrong. Maybe it is that simple. Knowing this country, I doubt it. There's probably all sorts of commissions attached to it. You pay commissions to buy the thing, and if you want to exchange it, you pay more commissions. Just like they do with cash. Dominic, years back, mowing my garden, thinking it's very quiet. heard, heard a load of cheering. I had no idea the World Cup final was on. I've never liked football this time. Oh dear, that's a good one. That's a good one. I like it. Well, you're obviously very lucky, Eki, if that's your arrangement, if it's that simple for you. I don't know anyone who's ever bought it. I really haven't. I've never known anyone. I tried it once. This is a true story. I tried it once when I was a boy. I went into a bank with a £5 note and I asked, uh, could I have my £5 of sterling, please? And to cut a long story short, essentially they threw me out of the bank because although it said it on the notes, it didn't mean it. So you couldn't get it. You couldn't trade that piece of, well, what used to be quite nice paper, um, and get silver or gold. You just couldn't do it. Not in this country. As I say, I tried it, and they wouldn't have it because it said it on there. I promised to pay the bearer on demand £5 sterling. Sterling at that point was calculated in silver and gold. Well, there you go. You see? Special case saying the same thing. No easy to get gold in Canada other than buying jewellery. Yeah. Indians, Indians, they have a lot of gold, but it's mainly jewellery. And they store their wealth in gold jewellery, of course they do. Well, you take care, Eki. God. Right, we can talk about this subject another time, Eki, when you're not so under pressure. Okay, doke. But I can assure you, I did try it and got nowhere. Got nowhere. And again, the way things are dealt with in this country, I don't know about anyone else, but I just don't trust the people that I'm dealing with. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is, so if I go into a jeweler shop and say to them, I'd like to sell this ring. I'd like to exchange it for gold. I know what would happen is they would take this ring into the back shop, and eventually they'd come back out again and tell me that they can't do it or they won't do it. They'll tell me there's not enough gold in it. They'll tell me something, some plausible lie that I cannot verify. And so I don't trust any of these jewelers to do anything with something of value, even if it's an emotional attachment like this ring, for example. I have a strong emotional attachment to this ring. I designed it myself and I've been wearing it ever since I was 17. I proposed to give it to my son as when I die. But why would I trust somebody that I don't know to take pieces of jewellery and put some value on them in some mysterious way out of sight, but wouldn't offer me, wouldn't even think of offering me an exchange of gold for gold or silver for silver? And that's my position on that. So you really think you're in a strong position if you've got a little bar of gold? The apocalypse has happened. And you've got this little bar of gold, and the wild people have got the food, and you've got this little bar of gold. Do you really think you're in a bargaining position? Well, not only that, exiled. These notes were beautifully produced on high quality paper, linen type paper. As I say, I don't know what's going on here with this stream. To say maybe it's obviously very different in America. You know, you can hear Eki. He makes it sound very simple, you know. You walk in with your money and you walk out with your pieces of gold or silver. I agree with you, Streaky. I want immigration levels to be at the same levels we used when we used tuppence, halfpennies, and threepence, and thrifty farthings. I told you all before, ages ago, to collect these things. I've got a whole collection of these things. Well, I hope Special K, a gold buyer, gave me $85. I take it you're talking about Canadian dollars for my wedding ring. I hope you feel that you got a decent exchange. I wouldn't know. You need some baseline to start with if you start dealing in these things. Steve, I got my rifle and rods so I can at least hunt. Yep. I'm actually growing my own spuds. He's that good for you. I do indeed, Exiled. I do indeed remember it. Yeah, but you got to start somewhere, Steve. That's the whole point. You've really got to start somewhere. I don't know how it can be possibly done fairly when you're the amateur in these situations. Dominic, I've seen forecasts of silver being 500 on an ounce in 10 years currency, 19 quid on an ounce. Local shop sells 1 ounce coins for 29 quid. I wish I was a rich man. Again, these people are in a position of making markets, and we're in a position of chasing them, and that's not a good position to be in. Because the other thing that comes into consideration is the quality of the gold or silver that you're offering for sale. Oh, again, how do you know? How do people like you and I learn these skills of testing the purity of these rare metals? You know, you're into all sorts of specialized knowledge and equipment. It's not quite as simple as some people make it out on YouTube. That's what they do all the time. Oh yeah, you should be doing this and buy gold, buy silver, and get these bars. Oh, there's Toffee. Good evening, Toffee. Yeah, but that doesn't help anyone blabbering on like that. Because, as I say, at the end of the day, if that uh, scenario actually were to hit, even if it were to hit in a regional level, and you're in that region that the collapse happens, how are you going to defend these little bars of gold and silver that you've got? How are you going to keep others from stealing it from you? Unless you're prepared to use extreme violence. That's what I see. It always comes down to this. But these survival types, they never talk about that. They skirt around that. But for people like you and I who aren't necessarily survival types, what is our answer? Carry it in a sack? Well, why not? He's prepared for that. Well, if it ever came to it, we'd need to be all prepared for it. Because if it ever came to that, there would be nobody there to help us. Except a few that you could trust. I'm not trying to be doom and gloomy. I just, these are questions that's always gone through my mind when I listen to people on YouTube with these survival ideas. And I'm not saying that the ideas are bad, because they're not. I've heard these things as well, Exiled. I mean, where do these people get their ideas from? How do they do it? See, one of the other things that I've noticed that happens a lot on YouTube is, uh, yeah, well, this is what you really need to do to survive. And they talk about this, that, and t'other. And they talk and they talk and they talk. And 2 or 3 hours passes, and you haven't learned a damn thing, because they just do the talking about it. And so they're stringing you along all the time to build up a channel. There's too much of that goes on. I can't be bothered with that personally. If you're out there to help people and you say, look, I think what you should be doing is this, and here's how to do it. And I agree with what Treble M said. This is what I've always said. I mean, I can take you right back to the days when you would get these great experts that would come on and say, yeah, you need private pensions. Here's a great deal with this company. Here's a great deal with that company, etc., etc., etc. Now, I'm not saying that these ideas and these pensions were not good ideas, but it all presupposes that you've got extra money that you can buy them and go on paying for them. Because it's not just the one time you pay for it. It's got to be paid every month or every week, whatever. Toffee says that I've morphed into a confrontational scouser after his bout with pneumonia. I think I've just got to the point, Toffee. I'm fed up listening to these guys on YouTube who have got these huge channels. They've got buy me a coffee, and I'm on PayPal, and I've got this and I've got that other thing, and they're bringing in money. And what are they doing? Are they doing anything really practical to help people who don't know anything, who don't have those resources? And too much of it, they're not helping anyone but themselves. I've just got to the point where I can't be bothered with it, and somebody needs to say something. I mean, I bet there isn't a person here in the chat that can tell me absolutely with 100% certainty that you can buy gold on the high street in this country. Because I've never met anyone who knows. So how difficult is that? If you know for a fact, if you have that kind of information, that hard information, that you know, yes, you can do it, and here's the places that will do it for you. Why do you need a 3-hour video? Why do you need PayPal and buy me a coffee and all the other stuff that they've got? I don't know whether you're being serious there, Streaky. I've invested in thousands of ecstasy tablets when a shit hits the fan and you're all fighting over precious metal. I will be laughing at you, all killing each other. Oh dear. The Earl is telling us in the Gulf War of 1991, MOD issued members of the SAS with 20 gold sovereigns each. Oops, hang on, come back. Each, which they then stitched and concealed in their clothing to use as bargaining tools in case they were captured. That's right, I'd forgotten about that, Errol. You're quite correct. That's what they did. Yeah, that's true, Exiled. There is also gold panning in Scotland. But finding the source is only half the problem. Of course it is. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. If you are genuinely on YouTube to genuinely help your fellow man, and you're one of these people who genuinely believe there's going to be a cataclysm of some kind, and you're advising people to be buying gold bars and silver bars and platinum and all this stuff. Where do you buy it? How much does it cost? Who sells it? And how do I know it's real? Good evening, boss. Edmund. I'm on YouTube because I don't have a life. I hope you take my point. I know I'm labouring it a little bit. I just feel it's important to disregard these people because they keep blethering on and produce nothing. I don't feel as though they're producing anything. I personally wouldn't be happy or comfortable if I exchanged cash that I have and put it into, let us say, genuine gold bars. Let's say that. The only way I would be comfortable with that idea is if sitting alongside that, I had some practical and proper way to protect myself against nutcases who would want to come into my home and rob me. Now, again, I know that sounds terribly doom and gloomy, but this is what these uh, YouTube folks talk about all the time. But nobody has to tell any of you how difficult it is to get a license to get a shotgun. Never mind anything else. You're not allowed to protect yourself in this country. You never have been. And over the years in my lifetime, it's got worse. They even took the knives away from the Boy Scouts and the Girl Guides. That's why you don't see the Boy Scouts wearing them. Because they were banned. And yet that was part of the uniform when I joined as a young lad. Same with the Girl Guides, they had their own version of the knife. We all know this to be true. You're not allowed to protect yourself. So one way or the other, you've got to somehow gather tools that you can use to protect yourself. I know that crossbows were very popular for a while. I'd be quite happy with a crossbow. I've got a couple of big clubs, certainly. But you need to be able to protect yourself, folks. Baseball bat, Trembling. Yes, that's an easy purchased defensive weapon. No doubt about it. You're quite right. I'd forgotten about that. I've got a tank, says Duck. And a chainsaw. Well, yeah, chainsaw. That's another possibility. Yeah, you turn one of those things on, and people have got a propensity to be moving away from you. But I'm being serious. That you need to think in these ways if you genuinely feel that that's the way things might go. Well, it's a favourite one for prisoners and inside, of course. That bars of soap and socks. Never been hit with one. I've never used it myself. Gavin is saying my brother has just finished a 7.5 year sentence for protecting himself against a drunk thug twice his size. That doesn't seem right either, does it? I used to be very anti guns when I was young. I think I was like most people, naive and starry eyed, trusting. But the older I became, the more I came to realize that no, the Americans have got it right. Ordinary people need to have the ability to protect themselves properly and therefore should have access to guns. And I don't mean these things that you see in the movies, that fires like 500 rounds of ammunition. But we should have access to proper defense. That's what I think. Pistols, semi-automatic or automatic. If I had my way, I would allow that. Obviously, there would be restrictions. You can't just give them out willy-nilly. But under reasonable conditions, we should all be able to get them. Yeah, that's another one, Errol. I've heard of this as well. Yeah, that's right. It's in that film, isn't it? Snooker balls in a sock. Reminds me of the 1979 film Scum. Yeah. Well, that'll take your head off, man. That would kill you. You get cracked in the skull with that. No doubt about it. But I'm talking about in the street, in civilian life. You're all getting very, very inventive here. 4 cans of soup and a pillowcase. Gee. Well, can you still get them, Toffee? Nice cat in the Woodlander was telling me about them. I need to get myself one. Still legal, them crossbows. I wasn't quite sure, Toffee. I'll need to look into that. The crossbow. Who's the daddy now? Yeah. And that would be my position if I were, if I had any political power. If I could introduce that, I would do it. I would allow people to buy guns, as I say, with proper checks and then of course required training. I mean, you just can't buy a 9mm pistol and load it up and start firing it off. You need to know something about it. It sounds bad, Gavin. My brother found a bottle, threw it in his face. 1 inch cut, got him 7.5 years. Wow. That's the kind of thing that used to happen here regularly on a Friday night. And I don't say that proudly. I think there's every chance of that, Ludwig. Every chance of that. Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, look, folks. I'm beginning to wilt. Funnily enough, says Toffee, I was in Lancaster Forums, a young offenders institution, back in a black lad from Moorside, Manchester, whacked me with a pool ball in a sack. Pool was banned after that. Yeah. Tried to think of the damage it caused to your skull. Well, that's how I feel about weapons these days. I think as our country uh, continues to be overrun by people who are illegal aliens, the need the absolute need for self-protection grows exponentially. And I wish I had the power. I don't. Uh, there is no justice in this country. I don't think there's justice anywhere in the Western world anymore. It's even foolish looking for it. I think we grow closer and closer to general chaos. Yeah. So for the moment, folks, I'm gonna bring in the music, and I'm gonna close off the stream because I'm wilting. I'm running out of energy here, and so the best thing I can do is shut down. I'll set one up for. I'll set a stream up for Tuesday. The same arrangement. If I'm up to it health wise, I'll be here. If I'm not, I'll leave some kind of notice. I'll get notification to you. Okay. Uh, that's the only way I can proceed at the moment. And I'll say what I always say. Adios, au revoir, cheerio, and goodbye until hopefully Tuesday night, 9 o'clock, as usual. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, whatever you do, and take care of yourself, folks. And we should look into ways of making sure that we're safe and our families and the people we love are also safe. Until then, God will protect us. And I will speak to you all really soon. So, bye for now. Enjoy the music, folks. And again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for your kind thoughts and wishes. And thank you for your prayers. Enjoy the music.
Silently the snow falls, paints a winter scene. swiftly spreads the dark rim, hides the fading autumn green. Moonbeams brush the dark wood, conjure friendships dear to me. Lightly now the breeze flows, disturbing more than just the leaves. But life's much more than we can know. We are one small glow in the eternal flow. Patiently the love grows, lifts the weary heart. Gently now she holds me, melts two worlds once apart. Moonbeams brush the dark wood, usher dreams of you and me. Softly then the breeze blows, disturbing more than just the trees.
All together now.
Love's much more,
So much more
than we can
than we
know.
could ever possibly.
We are one small glow
But an important flow.
in the eternal flow. Melodies of long ago, songs of innocence, harmonies to soothe the soul, past the consequence. Moonbeams brush the dark wood, awakening joys of you and me. Silently the snow falls, bringing winter symphony.
All together now.
But we're much more
So much more
than we can
than we
know.
can ever possibly.
We are one small glow
But very important.
in the eternal flow. But life's much more than we can know. We are one small glow in the eternal flow.
So you folks take care, and I will speak to you all really soon. Enjoy your weekend. Bye just now.